Lesson 85. Today's review will cover these ideas. 69. Lesson 69. My grievances hide the light of the world in me. My grievances show me what is not there, and hide from me what I would see. Recognizing this, what do I want my grievances for? They keep me in darkness and hide the light. Grievances and light cannot go together, but light and vision must be joined for me to see. To see, I must lay grievances aside. I want to see, and this will be the means by which I will succeed. 2. Specific applications of this idea might be made in these forms. Let me not use this as a block to sight. The light of the world will shine all this way. I have no need for this. I want to see. This then leads in this lesson number 70, which we're also reviewing. My salvation comes from me. Today I will recognize where my salvation is. It is in me because its source is there. It has not left its source, and so it cannot have left my mind. I will not look for it outside myself. It is not found outside and then brought in. But from within me, it will reach beyond, and everything I see will but reflect the light that shines in me and in itself. These forms of the idea are suitable for more specific applications, but does not tempt me to look away from me for my salvation. I will not let this interfere with my awareness of the source of my salvation. It says no power to remove salvation from me. So, my grievances hide the light of the world within me, and my salvation comes from me. As always, reviewing oneself, reviewing one's life. I was thinking about a friendship from years ago when a friend, one of my books that I'm working on, and I just got copies from the printer, and I realized that when I put things in, character traits, ideas, a variety of things that I use to create a book. Some of them are memories. Some of them are thoughts from the past. Some of them are reflections on others from the past. So that in many ways, sometimes I'm just flipping through a book and I'm just looking through it, and I'm looking at the layout, and I'm looking at the beauty of it on the page, of a creation. I'm looking at, how the chapters go together, and some of them have been printed in color. I'm looking at all those things. But I'm also, when I start going through the text itself, I'm also triggering memories. Because readers might not be able to see deeply, because they may not know the tapestry that I'm weaving that fiction from, that some of those little thread of reality in there. There's a feeling that I've had. There's a betrayal that I've been through. There's an anger that I've experienced. And I realize, in very harsh vernacular terms, sometimes my books are mindfucks unto myself. So I was looking at it, and I was like, and I made that connection. And you make the connection several different times over the years, because there have been several different books. And I was like, and then it reminded me of someone from the past, and how they had not been my expectation of a good friend. And the friendship, the relationship ended after several years because of their actions. And I could start to see, this was that person's guilt over their actions. And connection for them to me was guilt-laden. And my connection to them was that maybe I should have expressed some of the things, or some of the ways in which they had betrayed and hurt me. And I didn't, because, I was kind of jumping the gun to forgiveness, rather than walking through truth of, hey, you did this and that did not work for me, did not feel good, did not turn out well. And it wasn't accidental. I think you did something on purpose. I did something with a callous or a lack of compassion, loving thought towards me. And then, in truth, I changed that relationship because I realized I could not have that kind of person in my life. And years later, 10, 15 years later, still have grievance. I think is a strong word, but it might be the true word. Sometimes we avoid the truth, because we won't be too harsh with ourselves or with the idea or with our feelings, or we don't want to label them too harshly. But it was a grievance. It was a hey, you didn't, I showed up for you a lot and you didn't show up for me. And my grievance is the expectation that I thought you would show up for me. Or you had showed up for me 9 times and you didn't show up number 10. And really number 10 was kind of the most important. So, and I thought to myself, when I looked the person up online and seen a picture of them, and I thought, oh, and I thought about their life and where they're at and all the things that they've gone through and all of the years of what you can see. People look far too much online. And I thought, I expected too much of you. I expected too much of you. I'm not going to say the person's name, and I'm not even going to identify them as male or female. I expected too much of you. In looking at their life and, knowing their psychology and stuff like that, my grievance expected too much of someone who, in some ways, was still a child or immature in some ways. And I, in my own, I'm not going to say pomposity or arrogance, but emotional ignorance, thought, oh, that's okay. Or I thought other attributes of theirs compensated for this immaturity. And I thought that I was someone who should be, in some ways, I frame myself as a compensator of immaturity. And I was like, oh, see, that's how you set that up, and the creator and God and the universe and the other person and the lesson and all of that. And you still have this grain of sand, this little grievance about it, because you haven't set up that you invited this person in. And look at them. You can see that the things that they said that they wanted to do, you can see how their own personal fears and stuff have kept them in this little tight box. And I always thought, well, you can do anything. You can be outside the box, I can be outside the box, you can be outside the box, be outside the box. No, they were there. And it was, in some ways, on some level, insulting for me to have that expectation of someone. And that's why I still have this grievance. The grievance is probably the size of, the weight of, if we could measure emotions in a tangible way, my grievance is the same weight as my expectation. I was like, oh, well, there goes the course again. And of course, it's saying that, I must see, you must see. You must see, you must look at this, you must evaluate this, you must experience this, you must understand this, that it's not it. It is your relationship to it, your expectations of it, and what you have held from it. Because I was sitting in my head, and I was like, could everybody get out, please? Could just everybody... I thought I was done with A, B, and C, and here come A, B, and C, and D, E, and F, and G. What's G doing there? And I was like, okay. Do I need to get index cards? Do I need to get, pads for these, just everything you knew about this, vomit into a pad, or file folders? What do I need to do? And what the ego is saying, well, let me tell you why they're wrong, and they was always wrong, and in fact, they're still wrong, and really, we should do something about that. And then the Holy Spirit prayed into it, meditated around it, called on the Creator for it, called on my sense, my sanity, to see with it, said, oh, you chose that. You chose that. And your path illustrates your purpose and your work and all the stuff that you've done, all the stuff that makes you happy, that they weren't the thing that would make you happy. And maybe what you're really upset about, what your real grievance is, like if we kind of break down that grain of sand that you got in your tooth, is that you wasted so much of your time and energy, or you poured, and wasted is a harsh word, is an incorrect word. You poured so much of your energy into something that you weren't seeing clearly, or you refused to see clearly, and now you can see it clearly, and you're like, oh wow. So, I invite you to look clearly at yourself, to see your life, to see the grievances that you're upset about, and to see how they are yours, your responsibility, and perhaps how they're connected to your expectations of the other person and your expectations of yourself. As always, I'm your host, Kyle Phoenix. Thank you so much for watching Kyle Phoenix videos on A Course in Miracles. And you can always look me up on Google. Just type it in, Kyle Phoenix on Facebook, got the webpage, got the Amazon, got the blogger, got the Quora, write about all these different kinds of things. Thank you so much.